We are at the mosque in Mukarapo. In fact, today is 27th of July, 27 years after the failed attempt coup. I have in my presence here none other than Imam Yasin Abu Bakr. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How have you been?
I am very well, but I would like to begin with a correction.
What is the correction?
You said the leader of the failed coup. I looked up the definition as recent as this morning of a coup, and it said this is a military course of action to remove a government. And on July 27, we took a military course of action that removed the NAR government. So you can't call it a failed coup.
But it has been labeled by everyone as a failed attempt because after subsequent to the attempt, you were all taken to custody. But then again, as you said prior to this, prior to the interview, that you are in the Guinness Book of Records because you're the only leader who have taken men to war and none died.
Yes, that is true. That is true. It's in the Guinness Book of Records. 114 men came back alive.
100. So which means that you are better than Winston Churchill.
Now, what I'm saying is that there's 114 verses in the Quran, and nobody could defeat the Quran. So, and if you check the Quran, you know this is a religion of peace. And out of the 114 verses, 113 of these verses starts with mercy, God being the beneficent and the merciful.
But when I go back again, when you all surrendered on Marvel Road that day, you all were taken into batches of 19.
No. No. In the Quran it says, and over them is 19. When we were taken into custody, they divided us into batches of 19 to try us. Yes, and if you go and read the Quran, you will see, and over them is 19. So they were all just fulfilling, all the prophecies in the Quran.
But what have you to say? 27 years after, today's 27th of July, everything 2017, everything ends in 7.
Yes, that is true. Well, 2 and 7 is 9. And of course, 9 is the highest number because when you reach, after 9 is 10, you go back to the 0 and a 1. So the highest number is 9.
Recently, you made a very strong statement that it is a possibility something like this can happen again.
Oh, well, something is definitely going to happen. I can't say exactly what. Correctional measures against injustice, against the poor and the oppressed. It happens all the time. Jesus, peace be upon him, said in the Bible, there will always be wars and rumors of wars. So it is in the Bible.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, you're looking back, 72 people stormed TTT.
No,
114. I know, but I'm just breaking it down a bit. Yeah. How many people stormed the Red House and whatnot? But on that day, how long did you take to plan this? Prior to 20. Oh, you can tell me, how long did you really take to plan this?
Well, it took some planning.
Huh?
It took some planning.
Where the guns came from?
It took some planning.
But is it true that the A.N. Robinson administration had, they had some evidence on some case and whatnot, and that is why you went after them?
No. The genesis of this thing began with Bernadette James. She came to me and told me that these politicians were involved in these drugs, and she saw them. And she was mortally scared because they had hatched a plan to kill her after she tried all kinds of avenues to have this matter redressed, including trying to get a visa to get out, and they stopped it, thinking that she would go to the UN or somebody and have this matter exposed. So 4 days after she came and she told me that, but I felt very helpless because, there was nothing I really could do, because she herself wasn't able to do anything. The commissioner, Mr. Eustace Bernard at the time, he was scared. Everybody was scared. Nobody wanted to challenge the Attorney General, the Minister of National Security, the advisor of the Minister of National Security.
It was so corrupted.
And Major Thompson from the Army, he subsequently became a colonel. Well, all of them have now passed, And so after these 4 days, they hatched the plan, they took her off the street, and they murdered her in a bus with 30-something passengers. First of all, I was a police officer for 10 years, and my dormitory is next to the armory, right next to the armory. I know procedures. I'm a very good shot. If you check my record, you know that. I was a very...
I realize you're still alive.
Yeah, of course I'm alive. You pinch me and you will see. If I take a respirator, I'm very much alive. So what happened is that you can't go on these mock battles with live rounds. How did he forget live rounds in this weapon to shoot the girl head off the body? And then nothing happened to him.
With respect to Bunda,
And then nothing happened to him, if you understand what I'm saying. So I
when you
could...
saw all that level of oppression then, and if I can recall, things was really hard in the country then. It was hard. I mean, they're similar to what we are seeing here now. Unemployment, high food prices. I just came back from Tobago, and you'd be surprised at what's happening in Tobago. Even with respect to the issues with the ferry, food prices skyrocketing. And so oppression is more prevalent now than then.
Yeah, well, the ferry is a separate issue. First of all, the worst economy in the world today is Greece, right? Greece is the home of the great Alexander the Great, the Macedonian, yeah? But Greece is also the best boat builders in the world. Onassis and they build the best ships in the world, right? So we should take advantage of that bad economy and bring some people, boat builders here. Take 30 or 40 men, the young, bright men, some maybe from the Coast Guard, and in 5 years, we're paying $50 million a year for those boats. In 5 years, we will not only be able to make our own boats, but we will also be able to make boats for the entire Caribbean. That's planning. That's we're talking about futuristic thinking, and that's what governments are supposed to do. Now we're just paying. How long we went in these ferries to go to Trinidad? How long?
Let's go back
And with all the money we've had from the oil.
But let's go back. I mean, it's 27 years, almost 20 something people lost their lives, along with the MP.
War is loss of life and property. That is what war is about.
But plenty people, because of the coup, never came back in business
But
again.
more people already lost their life in accidents already for the year than these 27 people. And that accidents, road accidents.
What have they said to the families?
You know, and you know what the murders, you know how much murders so far? 208 something almost, right? More than, yeah, could be a little more so far. So when you're talking about 27 people, that's insignificant.
But do you think that this time around, what you are seeing here now, do you think that this country is ready for repeat of 1990, or it has the recipe for that?
Well, I have no knowledge of the future, and I will not claim such, you know. But definitely, something is going to happen. You see, if you have a break in the...
Not by you.
I don't know. Only God knows. It's
But
supposed...
you have the will and the strength, physical strength and that willpower to really put people together, put 114 together, and do you?
No, this time it will be plenty more.
But do you think you could warrant that kind of support?
Well, this time it will be plenty more. Not 114. It will be plenty
Do you
more.
think you still have that finances like what you had in the past to bring in guns and really equip your men to go out there on July the 27th? Do you think you have that kind of financial support and backing now? Everybody have recused themselves from you.
But I don't have to get no guns. Look how much guns on the street already. The guns are all out there already. The guns, I mean, anybody who's going to do anything just had to direct the guns what to do. But the guns are already there. Nobody had to bring in no guns.
Because right now, I mean, people are fed up. People really, and I can tell you this, yeah. I mean, I am out there just like yourself. I mean, while we were here waiting for you, I saw a lot of people outside. You couldn't get a place to sit. People telling you issues, people coming to you for help, and just like myself, people come to us help, and you realize when you are on the ground, you understand the level of starvation, you understand the level of employment. It's only who in the kitchen can really feed it. When somebody could sit there and say, yesterday I had my car, the bank come and take it because 6 months now I can't get a job. You understand? It really have things happening out there. I don't think the normal man understand what's going on.
The 4th, I think, of August, there's going to be a national demonstration by the unions. We are also going to be part of that demonstration. But we're going to be representing the unemployed, because the union only represents those who are employed.
By government.
Yes. But we are going to be,
servants.
we are going to be, we will join with Mr. Duke. And we will be representing. We are making an application, you know, to get license for a union. No, we are joining the march. We are making an application to get a license to represent the unemployed, like how the unions
Let's go
get.
back to the 27. How old were you then?
40.
40, and you
Yeah.
did at 40?
Yeah.
But
And
then
I
you
was
look in the same way?
yes, so why not? Why not?
27 years after, I'm looking at you, look like you're about 45.
I have four lovely wives who take very good care of me and God.
But for me to look young,
And off the camera, I would like to tell you something else, but off camera.
For me to look young like you, I should add then.
Add what?
Well, girl, next, you know.
Well, if you are 4 people looking after you, it must be better than if you are
No,
one.
because you look well, you look well. I tell
Well,
you
thank you
look well,
very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It's a tutorial elegance, man.
At 76, I feel well.
76.
Yes, October 18,
And
I
you were
was
saying you could
76.
still put people together and go after them.
Well, I told you what happened in the cemetery on Monday.
What happened in cemetery on Monday?
You don't know? You weren't there?
Jelani.
Yes. I put on the body and I had made an order that there must be no.
I had no dog back.
No, at all. None
No
back.
dog back.
None of the dogs backed.
None
Everybody.
of the dogs back.
No.
All the flex there was flexing. Nobody.
No. Credit has to be given to them. They went under the order, and nobody made any. There was no disruption of anything by any of the respective so-called factions.
Are you and the current Prime Minister good friends?
You better ask him that,
Why?
because he would tell you who his friends are.
Well, I didn't know. I know you have contract and all kind of thing.
Contract?
Government contract.
No.
Do you get government subvention for your school?
No. I don't get.
Last time I was here, the school was the school was now building and whatnot, and it's completed now.
No. The government don't give me a cent for my school since 1982. None. They pay every single other school in this country. They pay the
And you're
teacher.
registered?
They pay since 1982. They paying pasta coffee, pasta bush tea, pasta green tea, pasta cocoa. All them getting pay for the school. Swaha. And but look at what's that. Everyone has sat it, and I agree, and I have total admiration.
When do you have registered at your school?
152 now.
The
150.
children have nothing to do with that.
Well, we closed the secondary school because we couldn't afford to pay the teachers. So, but at the moment, the preschool and the primary school, we have about 152.
So you're not registered with Gate or anything?
No, we registered with all the other. We do the same curriculum. We do the same exam.
private
But what
school?
is important to note is that from that school we have produced medical doctors, engineers, lawyers. Yes, what I mean, serious.
school to the back?
Yeah, the Cowpen school. We had a Cowpen before,
Yeah.
and we graduated to that school. And we built that school without a
level?
cent. We built that school without a cent from any government. No government gave us any money. We built that school.
Do you get external help from like places like Syria and Sudan and whatnot?
But Syria need help for themselves right now.
I mean,
So.
these body outside there, this government,
No,
if they fund you.
No. We don't get any
How you
extra.
getting money to live a life like this? You live a very comfortable
But
life.
we work-
You live in expensive homes, you drive expensive vehicle. You're not a hungry mouth man, as they say. You're a man well fed.
Well, I work with God.
But you work 9 to 4.
No, I work with God, and He pays his servants well.
Could I get to meet that God?
Yes, He's with you now, right as we speak. He's the one who's giving you this voice.
But if you're not working anywhere and you live in this kind of life, well, then
But
I need
how
to know.
how you know I'm not working?
No, you're a comfortable man. You are. I mean, I do my thing. I know all about you. You are a comfortable man. You're not a man to borrow money and say you looking for food to buy bread or something.
No. I don't borrow money.
You can feed
We
the
can't
masses.
borrow money and
You could feed the masses.
well, in a few minutes we will be going to feed the poor today. Yeah, and it would be interesting if you had time to see where we're going to feed them, because they're in the dry river. The Africans living in the dry river, and that's where we go to feed them. Nobody wants to go in there to
Do you
find.
think the Prime Minister, the government, this administration here has abandoned the poor people of this country?
Well, listen carefully, and don't cut before I make this point. Yeah. Last week, the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition met. Yeah. In life, it have priorities, right? If you are to pay a light bill, and you want to buy a new suit, you would not go and buy the new suit and not pay your light bill, because they'll cut your lights, and the new suit will be no use to you when they cut your light.
Yeah.
So life has priorities. If it is that the government, the leader of the opposition and the Prime Minister is meeting to discuss, crucial issues in the country, the most by far, the most crucial issue is the 500,000 people who are living with less than $1,000, because you have to eat to live. The birds, the bees, the fishes in the sea, everybody have to eat to live.
No medication at the hospital, not forgetting that.
Yeah, but let's deal first with the eating and people housing and do you want to say food, clothing, and shelter? And now they have added to that, medications and things like that. Right, health, your health, right? But I'm saying that they had an agenda, and nowhere on that agenda was where they addressed that. It was not part of the agenda. So, and it's Kamala who paid millions of dollars to Dr. Farrell to do the study. So she has it in her hand, and then she gave it to Mr. Rowley in the February of his
What are you
first
going to
year.
do with that?
Well, they had two, but he has done nothing. There was two budget read, and nothing was done to address this poverty situation. So what do you expect in a climate like that? Tell me, Mr. Allen, what do you expect in a climate where you have this is 1.3 million people, and you have 500,000 people living with less existing, I don't know what to call it, with less than $1,000? How they live and how they eating? I mean, I could carry to several homes anyway in Beatam, Lavantine, and they had nothing in the cupboard, Mother Hubbard. Yeah? And so how they and people may see, yes, you on the ground, you know, you was a man, you was a man of the people. I have to give you that. You was a man of the people, and you know you are with them. You feel the spirit. You feel the disappointments, and I mean, you look at the present government, you know what's going on. Now, I don't blame Mr. Rowley, nor do I blame Kamala, because I could give you a quotation which says, "To be is to know, and to know is to do." If you know how to drive a car, then a car is useful to you. But if you don't know how to drive a car and a man give you a car, it then no use to you because you don't know how to drive it.
If you become a prime minister, but you don't know how to run a country, are you saying that?
Well, yeah, I'm saying no. I'm saying neither the opposition leader nor the prime minister know what to do. It is in the interest of Mr. Rowley to stop the crime. So why isn't he doing
Three
it?
ministers of national security. Yeah?
Yes, and then she had four, right? All right, and all of them is generals from the army. You know, as a country, not an army and military with some boots, shining boots and a gun shooting. That is not how you run a country. You know, respect is not automatic with a gun. You know, respect has to be earned, and they don't know what to do. None of them is. Listen, let me tell you something. Both of them is two slave leaders. Kamala is the leader of a slave community. The Indians come here as slaves. You could call it indenture to dress it up. They were slaves, right, on the plantation. And Rowley leading Africans who was chattel slavery, like in the days of Pharaoh and Moses. When Moses took the people out of the children of Israel, out of the bondage, Moses then tell them, as the prime minister, or as the president, all you could do what I say. Moses went up on the mount to talk to God and ask him what to do with these slaves, boy. You understand what I'm saying? So as a religious person, I have to look and draw inspiration from the scriptures, And if Moses know that he had to get guidance from God how to deal with slaves, how these two people, what Kamala and Rowley have to do
So
with
you are saying that one former leader and one current
both of them leading slaves. Kamala is leading the Indian workers, which is slaves, Indian slavery will come here to
So
cut
do
the...
you feel that they have them chain up in their mind, like they chain up everybody, whoever Rowley chain up people.
Let me tell you something. You know when Moses took these people, these slaves, out of bondage, Moses went up on the mount to talk to God. You know they made a calf of gold. If you go on Wall Street right now, you go see this big bull of gold, right, in Wall Street, yeah? So they made a calf of gold. Now, these people is the ones who made the pyramid, They made it with grass, and they made it with sand, and they built these magnificent pyramids, right? That is still standing. Why didn't they make the god out of sand and stone? Because then everybody would have part of the god. But they make it out of gold, so whoever had the gold owned the god.
Yeah, sure,
It's the same thing here. Let me give you a parallel to here now. How could a community with less than 1% in a community say that they're the most powerful group? Why? If they have 5,000 people can't even win a seat in our constituency.
But do you agree with this?
Well, let me finish. 5,000 people can't win a seat in a constituency because a constituency had to have more than 23,000, right? So they can't win a seat. So what makes them so powerful if not money? You understand what I'm saying? So the money is the God. To them, money is the God. Same thing. Same thing on Wall Street.
They really ask what they really do to But do you think that the Syrians they contribute significant to the economy?
Well, I don't have no problem with what they said, you know.
Car company,
No, no,
the
no,
beverage
no, no.
companies,
I
they
don't
come
have
in.
no problem to what they said because I am not a person who is opposed to the truth. And what they spoke is the truth. I mean, that
No, but they own a lot of business.
well, you
They
see,
employ a lot of people.
what people don't understand is that a company can colonize a country, you know. It was done in India. The first person who colonized India was the East India Company. Is the first to colonize India, not the British, not the French, not
So you think that
Tambali.
Syrians have colonized the people?
I didn't say that. I said this possibility is always there,
Okay.
right? Right. This and Lord Peel, who was the chairman, the CEO of the East India Company, he invented the police force. The police force is an invention, you know, like a car or something, you know, like a mason or something. It's an invention, you know. It's not that you can't find no divine. You can't find in the Gita, the Ramayana, the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, the Angel, the Old Testament. You will never see the word police. He and Lord Peel invented the word police. And then when we came here to this colonial thing now, the police have only had a 6-point star. That's the Star of David, the Jewish star. Mavro Gadavro was, was fighting against the Palestinian Israeli Jew. And then the British put him here as the commissioner. His name is Mavro Gadavro. If you go, one of the dormitories is named after him. And he take that symbol that the police had before, and he put the Jewish star on it. And we carry the Jewish star still as an emblem up to today, this very moment. So we representing Judaism because there's a Christian Judeo society, of course. Yeah. The Jewish holiday is Saturday, and the Christian holiday is Sunday, and both is bank holiday. They close the banks. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? Right. So.
Well, you're well, man, I must say.
I don't know. I'm a student.
Student.
Yeah, I'm a student of knowledge.
Where do you go from here? Where do you go from here? I mean, how did you spend today? I mean, just reflect on July the 27th.
But we're fasting. We're fasting. We have joined the spirit of the poor and the oppressed who has nothing to eat today. And like I say, we're going to feed the poor now. In a few minutes, we'll be leaving to feed the poor, and we join with them in this unison of their suffering. You know, all the prophets, they had to suffer with the people. They couldn't live like all these politicians live aloof from the people. You know, the real leaders must live with the people. They must be part of what the people feel. Yeah. So that is the situation today. So we want to join with these people and feel their suffering, you know, feel the thing, so we could understand them, so we could act appropriately on their behalf.
When you say act appropriately, what do you mean?
On their behalf.
What do you mean?
Appropriate on their behalf, whatever. If we're feeling the sufferings of them, then we...
That same feeling you have right now is the same feeling you had July 27th.
Could be, yes.
When you said that,
I had a feeling like that.
Yeah, the same feeling.
I had a feeling like
the
that.
feeling we're trying to tell me then.
Well, I did never lost the feeling. I never lost it.
There's more feelings this time?
No, I never lost it. I told you I never had lost it.
Because remember when you became, that day you became journalist and anchor. When on TTT, that was the first appearance.
Yes, and you know what I told them?
What you said?
I told them, go back to the clip and you will see. The clip will say, I said, if this country does not change now, it will descend in the abyss of no return. And it's gone right there now. It's gone to the abyss of no return.
But then you have failed.
No, I didn't fail. After my exercise, the NAR government ceased to exist ever again. They went into the garbage heap of politicians.
Did you ever speak to Robinson after that? Did you ever have any encounter?
No, I never had any conversation with him at all.
Never?
No, but I saw him suffering and messing on himself, and I felt pity for him, you know, because he was a man who don't know what it is to lead, because he was the leader of the NR. And he put them in that difficulty because he was a leader. And then when he realized the difficulty that he put them in, he said, fire with full force, kill everybody. He didn't care if everybody dead because he failed. No, that's not our leaders. If you notice, when I came out at TTT, I was no, and I the first man who came out, you know. Yeah. My men said, no, we're going out first. So if anything happens, I say, no, I going first. I the leader. I will tell you something else. when we got the decision from the Privy Council to let us go, they put us back in jail, you know. And we went back in jail. When I reached back in jail, the commissioner at the time, deceased, a good man, Mr. Hercules, a very good man. God make peace with his soul, yeah? He said, you ain't going in that cell because the Privy Council say you out, you know. What are you doing back in this jail? And he locked the cell. He said, you go home, you and the 4 men who are here, you and 3 men, you go home because you ain't going back in our cell. The Privy Council order says to let you out. Yeah. So I said, what about my men? He said, well, no, I have 110 men down there in Shagarama, start to organize buses. I think, well, I said, well, when they come out, I come out, I the leader of this thing.
You stayed back with them?
All night. I stayed there all night, outside, not in the cell. We stayed there all night.
What was life down there in Shagaramas?
Well, I wasn't down there. They moved me after the first day. They moved me and put me in Frederick Street. And they threw me in a cell with nothing, just a cell, nothing. I fasted for 3 days. It was very horrible. Everybody, all the evil spirits came to me and they were all defeated in that 3 days. And after that, it was sailing. Everything went according to God's plan.
But before I end, I'm very concerned with that feeling, you know. That feeling that what you said you had on July the 27th with respect to how the country was being run. The poor, I know you say that, but you're not acting on the feeling at all.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. How you mean I acting on the feeling?
But this kind of a concern. You are concerned about feeding the poor, but this concern, you know, I don't really know if you have that kind of support again.
Which support?
The support you had with the 114.
You know how much support I had?
Almost, yeah.
I had the support of the whole country in 1992. They called a election, and that was a referendum. I in jail, and I hear them saying, all day, all I could do, you're in jail, you don't have to do no work, you can listen to the radio. Yeah. And this battle is a battle between democracy and Islamic fundamentalism, and Islamic terrorism, and Islamic, all kind. This is democracy. Well, to me, it's not democracy, it's the mockery that you see, or the more mock that you see, right? So, and this is the battle this is the mother of all battles. The people must decide whether they want democracy or they want it all. 7 times a day they playing the anthem, and I in jail listening to them. You know, I said, I'm mocking pretenders, just playing a stupidness. And then Selwyn Ryan, who's a pollster, tell them they're leading by 25%. And then 2 weeks before the election, I wrote 2 letters. And Rafiq Shah printed them because Rafiq Shah brother was also a member of the 114. So he printed them, and I spoke to the people, and I told them what I wanted them to do. And the people did that. They wiped them off completely. Completely wiped them off. There's the first time in the history of Trinidad and Tobago that anybody lost every single seat. Not able to do that. The NAR won 33 out of 36 seats, you know. They had 3 blind mice. The PNM had 3 blind mice, Manning, Muriel, and Marshall. Them is the only 3 out of the 36 that remain. But the NR had 33 seats. They had 31 seats in Trinidad. And after I spoke to the people, the two weeks before the election, the people wiped them off completely. The 31 seats in Trinidad, they lost every single seat. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Them people still here. They're right here. And I will tell you something. You see those old, you know, after God took the people out of Moses, took the people out of bondage, God made them stay in the wilderness for 40 years, you know, for the old people to die out. All them old PNM and things die out. And all them old UNC and things, all them die out. It's new people, new blood on the block now. So you have a new order.
And you're the leader.
Who said that?
Well, I don't know. You're the leader.
Well, I don't know.
76 years, look at you. You look perfectly in good health.
Yes, thank God, thank God, thank God. Good, thank God. Yeah, and none of my wife ain't complaining. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you have to have a good engine. If this was a B14, it done crash long time, you know. So this you have to have a Mercedes or some Ferrari engine to have this motor moving still like it is, you know. Thank you very much.
Assisted by anyone, you know, to get up. You're up and down.
No. Get up, I mean, up and down. Yes, I mean, up and down. I still here.
But are you
strong as ever?
But before we go, you have reached that place. I mean, look at murders. Every day people go into people's homes and families are being murdered. Children are being murdered. Children's throats are being slit. Young girls missing. Hundreds and hundreds of people being sent home. Government has no compassion for the citizens of this country. And you are telling me today, the same feeling you had in 1990, that feeling has resurrected again in a more passionate way
They're stronger now, you
It's
know.
stronger
I
now.
will tell you why, because in that case it was Bernadette James alone. Now they're slitting all the women's throat. They're raping women who are 6 years, they're stripping them
Because in
naked.
Valencia we were
No,
there.
no, yes, I'm telling you that. And that is engendering me a new resurrection. My spirit is renewed again because of that last experience that I had. And I know that God made us victorious. And if they continue to do
This
that.
time, this time, you're giving up. They wouldn't say fail.
But I just explained you about the question of failure.
Go ahead,
So I don't want you to continue that. I'm telling you that this is anything that failed is a failed state. This is a failed state. I will tell you why. Because of how they treat the women. And if we're going to begin to repair this society, we have to start by the maximum respect. Who demands more respect from a man beside God than a woman? She's the one who rocks the cradle. The woman, 9 months in pain and travail. And then she could have just dashed you away. And all the politicians, everybody, all of them was once in the womb of a mother. And if you don't respect your mother, if you don't respect women, what kind of society are you? Will respect nobody. Nobody. They asked the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, tell us who to respect. He said, first of all is God. And then the Prophet. He said, and who after? He said, and then your mother. And they say, who after? And then he said, your mother. And they say, who after? Your mother. 3 times. And they say, who after? He said, your father. So your mother get the
Respect.
so your mother get the gold prize, the gold medal, the silver medal, and the bronze, and your father get the consolation. You see how we look at women? That's how we look at women. So we're very, very passionate. And we're saying that if this country had to start to climb back out of this morass, then we had to, the first thing to do, the very first thing to do is to give back to the women the respect.
July 27, 1990, scale of 1 to 10. How do you label the suffering then? How do you, from then to now and 2017?
But we're in the same thing now. We're even a little worse. No, we're worse. No, we're worse. We're worse. No, we're worse off. We're worse off. We were so because remember I was outside demonstrating against the high price of medicine. But they went to the cola, they take the people cola. We started with 27 organization. As soon as they said they're locking up people, everybody run and leave me alone. So